You are listening to the Why Smart Women podcast, the podcast that helps smart women work out why we repeatedly make the wrong decisions and how to make better ones. From relationships, career choices, finances, to faux fur jackets and kale smoothies. Every moment of every day, we're making decisions. Let's make them good ones. I'm your host, Annie McCubbin, and as a woman of a certain age, I've made my own share of really bad decisions. Not my husband. I don't mean him, though. I did go through some shockers to find him. And I wish this podcast had been around to save me from myself. This podcast will give you insights into the working of your own brain, which will blow your mind. I acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which I'm recording, and you are listening on this day. Always was, always will be, Aboriginal land. Well, hello, smart women, and welcome back to the Why Smart Women podcast. Today I am broadcasting, as usual, from DY on the northern beaches of Sydney, New South Wales, Australia. And today with me, sort of as a corollary to our adventure to the Mind, Body, Spirit Festival, which we'll be talking about in a minute again, because I'm still recovering from the shock of it, I have Richard Saunders, who is the Chief Investigator for the Australian Skeptics, which may not mean something to many of you listeners, but it's about to. Hello, Richard.
Hello. I brought you a large bottle of alcohol to help calm your nerves from our adventure.
Yeah, because we had attended the Mind, Body, Wallet Festival, and I'm still recovering. Richard has bought me a large bottle of gin, which we've already started drinking, so things should be well lubricated. So, Richard, is Richard close enough to that microphone, Harrison? Yeah. Good. And we have Yo-Yo in attendance, and in a minute, my son Lachlan's going to bring a coffee in, and which means she'll bark, but listeners are used to that. So, I thought we'd start with the question, Richard, as you have been in the Skeptics organisation for about 5 million years, even though you look so young.
Oh, yeah.
Although everyone assumed we were married, didn't they?
Yeah, the other day, that was funny. That was really funny. I mean, we were walking around almost arm in arm looking at stuff. So it wasn't a bad assumption to make.
It wasn't a bad assumption.
And people make assumptions all the time.
Yes, and let's talk about that, how people make assumptions
People make assumptions. And it really does get back to skepticism in a strange sort of way, that common sense isn't common, and science, the method of science, isn't common sense, which sounds contradictory.
Explain that to me.
The best explanation I can give you is if you look out here at DY every morning, lovely views,
beautiful
vistas to the ocean, what happens when you gaze out to sea before the dawn? What then happens? The sun comes up. No, it doesn't. Common sense tells you the sun is coming up. In fact, the earth is rotating towards the sun, right?
Yeah.
That is an example of how in our day-to-day lives, it's great. Common sense, our perceptions work well. They get us by. Great. But when it comes to many details like that, for example, is it any wonder that people used to think that the sun rotated around the earth? Because that's what we see.
That's what we see.
And the scientific method is full of things where you think, oh, I'm pretty sure that's true, but you know what? I better double check that. It's like optical illusions.
And it's like, we use heuristics, mental shortcuts all the time, and we have to use heuristics. Yeah. Otherwise, we'd never make our way through the day, correct?
Correct. And one thing, very important thing is to remember about humans is we've evolved to be a very successful species, right? Without most of our existence, without the scientific method, we still manage to have children and eat and carry on the species. So the scientific method and critical thinking is relatively new.
How new?
Well, that's how long is a bit of string. We don't know exactly when it was. People have been practicing science ever since there was people, but it took a long time to flourish, especially in the Renaissance. Yeah, where a lot of scientific thought flourished. Say that 6 times quickly.
Yes.
More gin, please. But the important thing to remember is we evolved a certain brain. It works incredibly well. It gets us through the day-to-day, but it does let us down occasionally. And Mind, Body, Spirit is a great example where lack of education, lack of scientific knowledge can really leave us open to being fleeced.
Yes, and fleeced we are. And especially at the moment, I think, with the invention of the internet, is that disinformation and misinformation is coming at us at breakneck speed, correct?
Oh, yeah, and more so than ever before in any point of our history, and it's exponential. I mean, the other day I was just mindlessly looking at TikToks, and well, I was looking at yours, of course.
Thank you.
And that's where I get the promos from, because I run promos for your podcast on my podcast, The Skeptic Zone, of course.
And we will put a link in the show notes to Richard's podcast.
You've appeared on my podcast many times.
It's called The Skeptic Zone. It's
Skeptic
very,
Zone.
very good. And there should be more skeptical podcasts instead of people selling us rubbish, correct?
Snake oil. But on there you can see videos of Elvis Presley and Freddie Mercury and President John F. Kennedy walking around chatting to people, John Lennon. And it's now to the point where if you just look at it, you do not have the capacity to tell it's computer generated. So
right.
Yes, this information, and that could be used for entertainment, that might be fine. But the point is, a lot of what you see online is simply wrong. People can just put anything up they like, you know.
And I've discussed this prior with the Snarky Gherkin, who's a very good and prolific debunker. And we talked about the fact that a lot of these influencers that are promoting things like you shouldn't have seed oils because they're shutting down your brain, giving you inflammation, causing premature menopause and giving you cellulite. Apparently, did you know, Richard, there was no cellulite until like 20 years ago. Apparently. It's new.
I'm just checking my legs.
I've looked at my legs, and there's plenty of it on my legs. Anyway, so these influencers, they get online and they start saying something like seed oils are the work of the devil, right? Or whatever the current thing is. Yeah. It's still gluten, apparently, is terrible.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, by and large, the population out there, as I said before, they're not... they don't have the knowledge or the education, and why would they? Why we don't all walk around with a scientific biology encyclopedia in our brain, you know, and so we are all open to hearing this stuff and going, oh, is that right? I don't know. I didn't do the university degree. I don't know if this is right. And so another thing to remember about humans as a species is that we've been evolved to listen to authority figures.
Yes. And what does that do? What's the problem with that?
Well, the advantage in our past was when the leader of the tribe said this, and this, it was probably wise to listen. Yeah. You know, this snake will kill you. Don't go near it. This, you know, and our ancestors who listened to authority figures were the ones who had children and reproduced. Who survived.
Right.
But now, I mean, it can be mind, body, spirit is a great example again. It's full of booths with people who talk seemingly knowledgeably about this product, that product. Did you know that your stem cells are falling out because of the parasites, and scientists don't want you to know this, and government and big pharma and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. They say it with authority. They could be wearing a white coat or something. They got a big badge on.
A badge was good. I noticed there was a lot of badges.
Yeah.
And a lot of coats.
Yeah. And we are evolved, and society has taught us that, you know, these people, you listen to what these people know because they obviously know what they're talking about. And in the case, what we've discovered is most of these people, it's hard to say most, but quite a good deal of them, are regurgitating the rubbish they've been told anyway, but speak to us about it as if it's true.
Yeah, so this notion of authority figures, it's of course we need that because, to your point, we need leadership. And in terms of a cohesion and survival of a tribe,
yes,
if we're all anarchic, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
But you walk into a festival where someone's selling you a patch.
Yeah.
That's going to cure cancer.
Or do anything, whatever they say it does. And I've seen dozens of these things over the years, from wristbands to amulets to whatever. The worst one I saw, and it really was a very many important lessons, and the name simply eludes me at the moment, it was over 10 years ago, was a little disc about the size of a poker chip. And you can wear it around your neck, or as the lady at the stall explained to me, if you put this disc on the table and you put a jug of water over the disc, the water will be imbued with the properties of sunblock.
What?
And then you can put that sunblock on. Safe, natural, effective, right? And she says, yes, I use it on my grandkids. Now, she's a classic example, and she said it with such conviction. She's a classic example of somebody who's simply being duped by these scamming bastards, you know. And
so they've sold it to her.
Oh yeah, I mean, the people who invent all this stuff know what they're doing. They don't accidentally come up with something and say, "Oh wow, this does all these miracle things." No, it's just a source of it's business. You know, it's like the faith healers in America, the big circus tent faith healers. Business is business. You know?
So okay, let's just take that example of someone who's got a disc.
Yeah.
And then you put the jug of water on it.
Yeah.
And then imbues the water with sunblock properties.
Yeah.
So then this woman has presumably she's got grandkids,
and she's bought it hook, line, and sinker. You know?
She's getting in the water.
Yeah.
And she's now putting it on the children's arms. And as we know, it's going to protect them.
Yeah.
And a friend of my husband's has he's just about to have 3 melanomas removed.
Yeah, I had one on somewhere on my.
Or did you? You've got very pale skin, haven't you?
Oh, reasonably, yeah.
Yeah. Richard's very, very pale. It's a bit like a vampire, listeners.
You don't see many grey-haired vampires.
Yeah, don't they live that long? Oh, they live forever.
Oh, they live forever. Maybe I am one.
Yeah, I think you are. You've been around long enough.
It's so important to remember that she, on the one hand, she's giving terrible advice.
Dangerous advice.
And I told her, because usually I hold my tongue, but this time I said, you cannot give this advice. But from her point of view, she is imparting to the general public this great, wonderful product that she's a part of, and she really believes in.
And of course, back to the melanoma issue, is my friend or my husband's friend who has these 3 melanomas. They said to him they occurred before he was 5. So this is the skin specialist said, the dermatologist said, this has all started very young.
Right.
So if she's putting water on her grandchildren, then she's actually endangering their lives. Like, it's very serious.
Yeah, it's a great example of how, in many cases, in the New Age and the alt-med, this happens. The other great example would be homeopathic vaccination. You know.
So explain. Okay, so for everybody, because we've got listeners all over the world. In Australia, our vaccination rates are pretty good.
Pretty good.
They're dropping a little bit, but even despite the best efforts of the lunatic anti-vax movement here, which is vociferous and says some really crazy shit, our vaccination rates aren't bad. I know in the United States at the moment, for instance, there is an outbreak of measles, which and if you listen to influencers and the likes of what's her name, O'Neill, Barbara O'Neill, then they love saying this shit. They go, well, you know, measles it's naturally occurring. It's good for you.
There was a book out about a decade ago called Melanie's Marvelous Measles. It's all about how good it is for children to get measles. I kid you not. Google it. Melanie's Marvelous Measles.
Oh my God.
Yeah. But we busted, everything goes back a long time now. Sometime in the 2000s, we busted a homeopathic outfit here in Sydney called, from memory, Gentle Heal, who was selling homeopathic vaccinations. Now, homeopathy...
Oh, let's explain this so that for the people who don't understand what homeopathy is, Richard is about to explain because it does my head in.
So the principles of homeopathy, there are many, but in essence, if you get a vial of homeopathic liquid or sugar pills, they are water or sugar pills. There's nothing else there. The idea is that once upon a time they came in contact with an ingredient, but that has been long since removed.
What do you mean once upon a time they came across an ingredient?
So the idea is if you get a bottle of sugar pills and you pop in one sugar pill which apparently could have been in contact with, say, a lemon, and you shake it out, and then you take one of those sugar pills out and you put it into another 100 bottles and do it. It's as ridiculous as it sounds. The bottom line is, if you get something which is called homeopathic treatment or whatever, if it's true homeopathy, it doesn't have anything in it. There are no ingredients. It's just water or sugar. There's nothing there. There's nothing there. It's the mystical, spiritual memory vibrations of the ether thing. Okay, so these people were selling.
They're going to vaccinate. So let's just say I've got children, because let's just say I have little children, and I have been influenced by the anti-vaxxers that you shouldn't vaccinate your children with actual something that does something. Then I can go to a homeopath, and they will give my children what?
Well, water or sugar.
But what do they say it is?
They say it's a natural vaccination against measles, mumps, rubella, whooping cough, chickenpox, you name it. So years ago we busted a company and we gave them the Bent Spoon Award that year.
Explain the Bent Spoon Award.
It's the Australian Skeptics give a discouragement award every year called the Bent Spoon for the most ridiculous piece of scammery or something that can't possibly work, or people who think they can talk to the dead, or this sort of stuff. And
right.
So, but with that product, I mean, we hate to think that parents went to them, got magic sugar fairy water, and thought they were protecting their children.
Yeah, because if the child gets whooping cough, I mean, children die of whooping cough.
They do.
No two ways about it.
They do.
And as we know, the measles can give you encephalitis. It's very dangerous.
So homeopathy, from our perspective, is an interesting case. It's probably the biggest medical scam in history. It's a scam. It doesn't work. But most people involved with it will praise it to the grave, thinking it's the best miracle secret the government doesn't want you to know. It's not used in hospitals because of big pharma conspiracy, on and on and on and on. It's just it's magical fairy dust. It's close to witchcraft.
So and may I say that we have a pharmacy here in DY called the Whole Foods Pharmacy, and they have lovely pharmacists, very, very nice pharmacists. I get all my proper pharma medication there, and it's got homeopathy in it.
Business is business.
Business is business.
Business is business, yeah.
There's an ethical issue with that, right?
I know.
There's a really big ethical issue.
It's like that old saying, there's nothing, as the hitman raises his rifle to your head, he says, it's nothing personal.
Yeah.
It's business.
It's business.
It's big business. $1 trillion business, the whole alt med supplement industry.
Yeah.
Big wellness.
Big wellness.
Big wellness.
Yeah, I've just was I've one of my latest TikToks, which has had nearly 30,000 views. I talk about the fact, because of course, this narrative coming out of the mouths of the influencers, going big pharma, they're just in the pocket. The doctors are in the pocket of big pharma, and as we know, wellness is worth many, many, many times.
Yeah, I've been accused
in the trillions
of being in the pocket of big pharma. I caught a bus here today. I didn't drive my Rolls Royce. I caught a bus. I wish I was in the pocket of big pharma sometimes.
Yeah, but did you actually own that bus? Is that the truth of it? You're very wealthy. You own the B1
Yeah, but I let somebody else sit up the front.
Yeah, so. It's really kind of you, Richard. Yeah, when I get the bus, I do the same thing. It is my bus, but I'm like, you sit there and make yourself feel important. And all the GPs I know that are apparently, in the pocket of big pharma, they're sitting on some pretty big mortgages.
How about that?
But how does this imbalance, it's a big get into our brains, because it's so frustrating for me, and so frustrating for all us skeptics and debunkers, that we're hitting all the time against these voices of certainty that are sort of promoting woo and dangerous things.
Critical thinking in science is not natural and it's not easy. Whereas a simple message about the evils of big pharma is easy. And have you heard of Brandolini's law?
Yes, but please explain it.
Okay, this is more along the lines of it takes many times longer to debunk bullshit than it is to say bullshit. In other words, if somebody says something ridiculous or wrong or absolutely, it takes 30 seconds. But if you want to unpack that and explain why it's wrong, it could take, so long. And by the time you've done that, people have left or gone home.
Yeah. And also, I know that once a piece of disinformation is out there, as is to your point, even if you refute it, the refutation doesn't stick, but the misinformation does.
Well, the great example of that would be the lie that vaccines can cause autism.
Yes,
by Andrew Wakefield.
Andrew Wakefield, yeah.
Completely retracted and found to be absolutely wrong, scandalous, but it's still out there.
So just in case some of our listeners aren't aware, Andrew Wakefield was a doctor. He's now been debarred, hasn't he?
Yes, struck off.
And I think he had a sample size of something like 9 or 12 children.
Yeah, it was a bodgy study. He was also spruiking his own commercial interests and everything like that.
As always.
But the point is, of course, it was retracted and debunked. It's not true. But it persists in large sections of the population who listen to the anti-vaxxers are still absolutely convinced that vaccines cause autism. And now a large amount of people will probably no doubt think that paracetamol will cause autism.
So on top of the vaccines, oh my God, RFK, what have we done? So now we've got RFK in charge of...
It's nonsense on stilts.
It's really just nonsense on stilts. It's so dangerous what's happening in America, because now not only apparently do vaccines cause autism, according to the health secretary in America, but also paracetamol causes it.
Acetaminophen, paracetamol, yeah.
But then last week, apparently Trump had his health report, and he's the healthiest president that's ever been born.
Well, that's obvious.
It's obvious to me. It's obvious to all of us.
Of course,
just looking at him, he's incredible. That orange tan doesn't come from nowhere, right? And he's just been vaccinated, had his flu shot and his COVID shot. So they all do. They're such shocking hypocrites.
Well, it's hard to pin anything on Mr. Trump. It really is. It's like they say, trying to nail jelly to a wall. It's a bit straight. But RFK Jr., yes, he's, where do we start? But let me just say, it's not just smart women who fall for all of this. It's smart men. It's smart everybody.
And why do you think, we talk about this a bit, but I'd like your perspective on it. I know a lot of very, very intelligent people, and especially, say, in the artistic community, who absolutely have a lot of magical thinking going on, a lot of it. So intelligence hasn't protected them. Why do you think that is?
Because it's part of our evolutionary history.
Unpack that.
All of us, there are many humans on the planet. How many billions are? You can imagine there's a huge variety of neural activity going on up there.
Stuff in your brain.
So you'll get people who are brilliant and scientifically minded and good critical thinkers. You'll get people who are brilliant but susceptible to magical thinking. You'll get people who are not very brilliant, particularly, but have learned critical thinking. The point is, there's a range of people. We get back to why we're here. Why we're here is because our parents reproduced. That's all that evolution cares about. So critical thinking and the scientific method are, as we said, are relatively new on the scene as far as our species go, but our species was going and before all that, and it still goes despite all the woo and the magic and the people being ripped off and the bad advice. We still carry on as a species. So it's an interesting way to look at it, So I would hope that in the centuries to come we'll fine-tune things. Things will settle down. A lot of superstitions will disappear because they always do.
Do you think?
If we keep going, yeah.
I don't know. So. I heard there was a woman online yesterday, and she's saying, she was being interviewed, and she said, it's so beautiful. I was talking to Jesus, and apparently he's bought Charlie Kirk a ranch. And Jesus and Charlie Kirk have been riding horses together on the ranch, and Charlie's really happy. Anyway, so she's saying that, and I'm having to fan myself because I'm like, oh my fucking God. And then the woman, so there was two women, right? Someone was interviewing, and the woman that was interviewing her was wiping tears away and nodding in this really sincere manner, and I was like, do you actually believe that? Do you actually believe that, or are you making it up? Like, I don't know, but they were so sincere.
You can't tell sometimes. You really can't tell. But the good news is, of course, there are people like you aiming your podcast at everybody, not just smart women.
Are you going to buy me a ranch, though? I'm just asking.
I will. Well, I'll buy you a ranch dressing. How about that? For your salad. And there are people like Kate Thomas who are actively on TikTok looking at this woo and saying, here's the real deal.
Okay, so Kate Thomas, who Richard and I had the pleasure of going to the Mind Body Spirit Festival with, is a pharmacist.
Yep.
And she is married to an oncologist.
Yeah.
And also my daughter was in attendance at that, and she's also studied chemistry, and she's a lawyer, and she was walking around going, they can't say this, Mum, they can't say it, it's illegal, they can't say this.
Well, I've wanted Mind Body Spirit to be rated for years.
Yeah, but it's a resourcing thing.
It's a resourcing thing, yeah. It's just seen as silly light entertainment, yeah. But there's very bad things happen there.
Yeah, it's very bad. So because sometimes, especially when RFK was elected,
he wasn't elected.
It wasn't elected.
No.
No, you're correct. Thank you for that correction. It's actually true. When he came to power, I just wanted to lie down. I was like, "What? How did we get here?" And then sometimes I feel like our voices that are going, don't homeopathically vaccinate your child. You can eat gluten safely unless you're, unless you're a celiac. Dairy isn't necessarily the work of the devil.
And sunscreen is good for you if you go in the sun.
Sunscreen.
A lot of people
backlash against sunscreen.
A lot of people think it contains naughty nanoparticles.
Oh, nanoparticles. And then there's people...
And they probably have parasites, right?
Yeah, well, that's the other thing is, that, of course, everything with the detoxing and the amount of people, because I'm part of a gym community, and, I hear the chat around me of the sort of women in their 20s and 30s. Everybody's frigging detoxing. They're having these special lemon drinks. I'm like, what are your liver and kidneys
because
are for?
They've been told by authority figures, and it makes sense. From a common sense point of view, it makes sense. It's like the sun coming up instead of the earth going towards the sun.
So how does detoxing make sense? To explain to me, because it doesn't make sense to me.
Well, just on the face of it, if you think you've got toxins, whatever they are in your body, and this will get rid of them, that makes sense, doesn't it? It's a simple message. Right?
So I know I've got toxins because I'm maybe tired.
But
why do I think I've got toxins? I've been told I've got toxins.
Are you feeling tired?
Yeah.
It's probably toxins. Is that you're feeling tired, right?
I am tired.
And all the heavy metals that build up in your blood and your...
Yeah, I do feel tired. Yeah.
And if you wear these foot patches, all the heavy metal are drawn out through your feet. Look, I can put them on your feet. Tomorrow morning you wake up, they're all brown. Proof positive. That's another scam.
Yeah, so I'm tired, or perhaps I'm... tired and I've got a lot going on. Perhaps I'm really stressed.
And we go to an authority figure for help.
And so I go to a naturopath.
Yep. Who you believe knows what they're talking about.
Well, it's got the word naturopath has nature embedded in the word. And we have a big bias towards things that are natural, correct?
Correct. It's one of the best marketing campaigns ever perpetrated on the population.
Unpack that for me. Why do we have a bias towards all natural? Because it's frigging everywhere, right? What's the deal?
The deal is it has the inherent promise of being good. Natural is good. It's been just drilled into us, whether in truth natural is completely indifferent to us.
Nature can kill us,
snake
right?
bites are natural. Poo is natural.
Brown bears. Arsenic.
And we've spent the reason that we live such long and healthy lives generally is because we fight against nature.
See, isn't that the most fascinating?
Again, it's counterintuitive. You see?
At that, let's just look at that for a minute, because the amount of marketing. I live above a Woolies, and so I'm up and down, and also there's the pharmacy. Yo-Yo loves Richard, by the way.
Hello, Yo-Yo.
Yo-Yo, who's generally very leery of people, especially men, has sat at his feet and looked at him like he's a king, and at various points offered her paw, and has now gone to sleep.
That's right.
So that's the magic of Richard. Did you slip her
Some homeopathy.
homeopathic vet stuff, right? Anyway, so I go up and down these aisles, and the word natural, additive free, no artificial colours.
Yeah.
It appears, but
no GMO, etc., etc.
Oh, no GMO.
Yeah, it's marketing. It's marketing. That's how our society works. It's capitalism, and to a point you can forgive and understand that, and society still functions. But the wary buyer will realise that that's just a marketing campaign.
So, Nate, this notion of I don't want to have anything processed. I mean, the backlash against processed food is just stupid. It's just ridiculous.
Just be aware of what you're eating.
Try and eat.
Lots of nice, healthy fruit and veggies and stuff like that.
You can have a fucking biscuit.
The odd processed foods.
It's all right.
Fine, have a bicky.
Don't eat 6 Big Macs a day, but apart from that, you're all right.
I mean, generally speaking, again, our population is healthy and lives longer than at any time in history. So
that's right.
We've got to be doing something right.
And yet we've got this appeal to nature. And the other big issue that I have is this notion of clean eating. It's everywhere. You've got to clean eat. And I think clean eating, it sounds like you've got to dust the dirt off your food. It's in fact not. I think it's no gluten.
No, maybe you eat while you're cleaning.
Clean eating. I like that. Sort of a washer in one hand and an apple in the other.
That's right.
But I think it's no dairy. I don't know what it is. It's no dairy and it's nothing processed. And all that happens from this, especially in women from, say, the 20 to mid-40s age bracket, is we end up with disordered eating. And it's based on absolutely nothing.
Well, I will make a comment about, and of course this is the Why Smart Women podcast, and you'll agree with me that when we're at Mind, Body, Spirit, 75% of the attendees there were women.
And why do you think that is?
Because what is there is marketed to appeal, especially to women.
So we are much more vulnerable.
Yeah, I mean, let's just say, it's true. Not because it's no fault of women. It's because that's where the market is, and that people know that.
So the marketing towards women is much more prevalent.
Yes,
because I guess there's the hormonal thing. Because we've got the whole menstrual cycle and then the menopause. And I did notice that the menstrual cycle and menopause was very heavily...
I saw that too, I saw
so much, because menopause is the new black. Right?
And this...
Hormonally balancing, going to hormonally balance
notion
you.
From society that women are the caring, spiritual, nurturing, blah, 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 which is, there's always grains of truth in it, all of this sort of stuff. But then it's, when you go there, you see that's, what a great angle for marketing. Buy this product, buy this herb, buy this whatever.
It'll hormonally balance you and fix your inflammation and stop your bloating. Richard, get onto it.
I need some of that.
You need some.
But of course, on the upside is, as we all discovered, there were nice things to buy.
I didn't like it.
You did? Kate bought some lovely clothes and things.
Did.
You did.
I couldn't do it. I bought some chocolate, and Lily said to me, I bought chocolate because I was really hungry. It's the only reason I bought it. And then Lily sidled up to me, my daughter, and she went, "Why did you buy that?" I said, "I was really hungry." She went, "It's vegan, Mum." And I went, "Ugh."
But as much as it freaked you out, you know that you did the right thing.
I know I did the right thing, because otherwise it's this notion that we just sit around and not being endlessly judgmental. Yeah. So it's interesting what you say about women, and I think that's really relevant, that we are meant to be the nurturing, spiritual sort of beings, but we're also meant to be thin, pretty, young. And now we're meant to be, because now the code now for thin is fit.
Is it?
Strong.
Okay, strong.
We don't talk thin, Richard.
All right.
we talk...
I haven't talked thin for years.
Yeah, you haven't talked thin for years, that's right. But you can talk strong now. You don't have to talk thin. So there's all this coded language. So now the new thing is you don't have to be thin, but you can go to the gym and then you can be really strong. But of course you've got to do that. And then you've got to have 17 different sorts of protein. Because everything, did you not notice that everything is protein?
Everything is, well, everything. I thought everything was parasites, but there you go.
No, there's parasites that really live on the protein. I don't know if they do.
I don't know.
But every product, you just go downstairs to Woolworths and you look for the word protein.
Yeah.
It's everywhere.
Yeah.
Now, we actually don't need that much protein. It's not very good for our kidneys and liver, apparently, but it's absolutely everywhere. There's that, and the other thing that has appeared on the shelves is bone broth.
There was bone broth probably bone broth, but there was also bone broth.
There was bone broth
at Mind Body Wallet too, wasn't there? Yeah.
Yeah. So that's I don't know.
I think that detoxes. Maybe it detoxes your parasites. You know, if your parasites have toxins in them.
Yeah.
You drink the bone broth. It goes to the parasites.
Yeah. And then does what? It
detoxes the parasites.
But then
they're happy parasites.
Then they're happy. Then they can go to the gym. And they don't have to get thin. They can just get strong. So what you've got is parasites with really developed biceps.
Yep.
I think that's what's happening. So there's all this language that we have to, as women especially, and men, but this podcast is aimed at women, that we have to cut through. So if you see some of this language around detoxing or anti-inflammatory or immune boosting, or the word protein, or the word bone broth, or the word organic, or the word GMO, start thinking. Or the word natural.
It's incredibly difficult. It really is. We get back to the point that science and critical thinking is a chore. But the quick bit of advice, if you are out shopping and you come across something like this bone broth or whatever, Google it plus the word skeptic or skeptical review. At least have a look. You might find something written by the Committee for Skeptical Inquiry or the Australian Skeptics or some credible doctors saying, well, we've looked at this and here's what we've found. It will behoove you to do that.
So you look up the word skeptic or skeptical inquirer. Can you look up the word scam? I often look up scam.
Yes. I would probably opt for skeptical. You can look for both, simply because it's a bit laden, the word scam.
Yeah. We're skeptical.
Skeptical means that hopefully you will find a critical analysis. Somebody who's looked at it not from a cynical point of view, but from a skeptical, a questioning point of view. What's really behind this, you know?
Yeah, so I think that's a really good thing to do, because it's very difficult for us to make that assessment. I noticed that Kate and Lily, it was quite easy for them to turn a product over and look at the side of it and go, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Whereas I wouldn't know.
Yeah. Why would the general
I don't know.
Population know? They stream in there by the thousands. They don't have that education.
Yeah. So we need to start maybe spreading the word that if you see a product, what you can do is look up the word skeptic and they will assess the claims. You know, one of the biggest claims I see on things it will boost your immune system.
Yeah, it's a meaningless term.
It's meaningless. Yeah. You don't want to boost your immune system.
Yeah. I'm surprised they haven't changed that to balance, because we all want a balanced immune system.
Yeah, balanced brain.
But
too.
Boost is a great word because
it's got energy behind it.
It's got energy. It's easily understood, and you think that it makes it better.
It's going to be better, but in fact, you don't want.
No, you don't want because that leads to things like autoimmune disorders, and
which
like that.
are the result of overactive
boosting.
So just think, next time you see the word, boost your immune system, look up skeptical and skeptical inquirer and inquiry.
Well, just the word skeptical.
Yeah.
And in fact, that's a great start. Everybody, after you listen to this podcast, go to and put in quotes, boost your immune system, and then after that, type in the word skeptical review.
Yeah.
And see what you find.
And
you'll have a better understanding of this meaningless term.
And I think we might do that every week, Harrison. We might come up with a term like organic or
anti-GMO, parasites. You
Yeah.
put me on the parasites.
I know.
I love it.
Yeah. Oh, I told you, and they were falling out of me as I was walking around the festival. Well, I think we've covered quite a lot. What do you think, Richard?
I think we've done very well indeed.
And I think we have to keep going with our dual.
Our Why Smart Women Zone. That's right.
Why Smart Women Zone?
The Why Smart Women Zone podcast. That's right.
I think that was very helpful. So thank you so much for coming all the way to the Northern Beaches and calming down Yo-Yo.
Yes,
with your magical homeopathy drops that you clearly put on her tongue.
I snuck them in.
You snuck them in, you sneaky Richard.
And enjoy the files I've given you. Folks, I've given Annie my complete archive of alt-med files I've collected over the past quarter of a century. Yeah.
It's absolutely terrifying.
You'll have nightmares watching that.
I will. I'm just, as you know, I've had to drink 3 glasses of gin this morning just to get over 2 days ago. So thank you so much, Richard.
Thank you, Annie.
Thank you so much, Harrison, as usual. And to all the listeners, stay safe, stay well, wherever you are in the world. And remember, keep your critical thinking hats on. See you later. Bye. Thanks for tuning into Why Smart Women with me, Annie McCubbin. I hope today's episode has ignited your curiosity and left you feeling inspired by my anti-motivational style. Join me next time as we continue to unravel the fascinating layers of our brains and develop ways to sort out the fact from the fiction and the over 6,000 thoughts we have in the course of every day. Remember, intelligence isn't enough. You can be as smart as paint, but it's not just about what you know, it's about how you think. And in all this talk of whether or not you can trust your gut, if you ever feel unsafe, whether it's in the street, at work, in a car park, in a bar, or in your own home, please respect that gut feeling. Staying safe needs to be our primary objective. We can build better lives, but we have to stay safe to do that. And don't forget to subscribe, rate and review the podcast and share it with your fellow smart women and allies. Together, we're hopefully reshaping the narrative around women and making better decisions. So until next time, stay sharp, stay savvy, and keep your critical thinking hat shiny. This is Annie McCubbin signing off from Why Smart Women. See you later. This episode was produced by Harrison Hess. It was executive produced and written by me, Annie McCubbin.